Hiya, I just wanted to make a video about different types of pregnancies that we went through. My midwife described mine as one of the worst pregnancies that she's ever been involved with, so that was great. Obviously, if you know my channel, you'll know that I went through infertility and IVF and had a hard time falling pregnant. So when I became pregnant, I thought that was it. That was all the worry, all the fear, nervousness, everything would be gone. But nope, of course, because of our luck, that just wouldn't have happened. And straight off, we suffered from a hematoma. I don't know if you know what that is. That's you kind of get them, especially if you go through IVF, because when they insert the embryo, they can cause a wee bruise. Some people naturally can have it as well, and it just gives you a little bit of blood after it, but still scary to see. But we got that checked and we got told it was a hematoma, but I think we were down at the early pregnancy unit about 4 or 5 times in a couple of weeks before we got our 12-week scan. So that wasn't nice. And then as we led to our 12 weeks, we were going to announce our pregnancy to everyone. And on the day of the 12 weeks, I'd said to my husband, "Oh, I'm getting an awful pain in my side. Do you think that's normal?" And he was like, yeah, you get stuff like that. And the next minute, it was just pouring and pouring of blood. I mean, like a tap. You put toilet roll and it would fill with blood, and again and again. And then after that, it was clots. So I'd phoned up the pregnancy unit at my local hospital, and they told me to come down. So we went down, and even on the way down, it was just clots coming out, and there was like no hope in my head. And then when we got there, they basically told us the same thing. They told us we were going through a miscarriage, and that with the amount of blood that we'd lost, that there was no way that the baby would have survived that. So they had an inside inspection, and they cleared like any clots up there, and my cervix were still closed. But the doctor said that can happen. They can still be closed, but unfortunately baby's passed inside. So then I went from a scan, and he actually pulled the TV away from us because he didn't want us to see it. And then as we were lying there, I was in tears, and he turned it round, and we saw our son doing backflips on the scan. I have to say it was the worst and best day of my life, because it was like the baby took off me and gave back again. Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible. But that feeling of that he was still here, but we did get told we were suffering a hemorrhage and I'd maybe need a blood transfusion. Luckily I never, but I did lose a lot of blood that day, and I was really unwell, so I was on couch rest. And then I had kind of blood on and off till I was maybe 15, 16 weeks. So that wasn't great, but it was great when it stopped. And then they worked out that my placenta was at the front. I think it's called what was it called again, man? It's called something like the position of it, because it's at front, so you don't really feel movement as much. Certainly not till further on and stuff like that. So that was great. So I never really felt baby move. So we were down for appointment after appointment to get like checked that the heart rate was going, that it was still there, moving and stuff like that. I'm still trying to remember. Can you look it up what the name of that placenta was, please? It's my husband. So that was horrible also. And then I started to get skin rashes everywhere all over my body. I was skin rashes. I looked like I was in a fire at one point. My face, my body, all had anterior placenta, that's what it was called. So it affected my body. And then my teeth, I started getting and it was COVID, obviously. You wait 10 years to have a child, and we had COVID. Well, we never had COVID, but we were in the pandemic. So we weren't getting appointments for dentists and stuff like that. And then my teeth were falling out. So that was another thing that happened, which wasn't great. And then I was fainting, and then I had bad anemia. It was my iron levels were low. So I had a lot of iron pills that I was on, and again a lot of rest for that. And then my father-in-law, we found out that he had cancer, and he'd only had 6 weeks to live, which I was 6 weeks pregnant then. And we couldn't see him much because of COVID as well. And everybody, not just us, like not just me and my husband, my whole family, were waiting for this pregnancy for 10 years with us, this miracle pregnancy, because I was told really I was never going to have kids. So yep, so that was horrible because we weren't allowed to see him that often, and obviously I was going through all this other stuff because I wasn't well a lot with the pregnancy. And he wanted to have treatment basically to see his grandson born, but that wasn't able to happen because it was too far gone. So on the day that we got a private scan and got a 3D scan, he landed to give to his dad, he passed away. So we put that in his coffin with him. So that was really sad. But we gave our son his granddad's name in the middle, so he will always carry on his legacy, which I hope always looking down and appreciates that we still get part of him. Try and get everything else that happened during the pregnancy. I got a clot in my lung. Got a clot in my lung. That they had to do a machine round it and found that I had a clot in my lung. And then my heart rate was so high, so I was hospitalised for that and I had to get a heart scan.
And was Landon not lying on your...
Oh, so he was. When I was getting my teeth out, I passed out because Landon was lying on my main artery because the placenta was at the front, so it pushed him at the back. So he was lying and it stopped me breathing and my heart going. So I woke up in the dentist and I had all these doctors around me. So then that happened, and then, yeah, I had a heart scan. And then you're thinking, that's it. Everything's done. We're 33 weeks. And then we go for a scan. And she says, yep, that's it. Head down. Everything's fine. 33 weeks. So, like, that's you good. And then we went back a week later because we were getting checkups because we weren't feeling him move that much. And they told us that he went breech. That was less than a 1% chance he'd went breech. And he went breech. Yep. So Andy was... When he was born, he was £9.11, so he was a big boy, so I'm not sure if I would rather him be breech. So we went in for a C-section. Because of the way Landon was lying, it wasn't just breech, it was snake-like. So they had to cut me open an extra third. And then the easy part they told me was the epidural, which now has left my back with a bit of disability because they had to pierce it 12 times to get it in, which gave I can sometimes hard to get out of bed or walk or lift Landon or do everyday stuff. So yep, it was a shit pregnancy. That's just really the way to put it. 10 years in the shittest pregnancy with COVID, with family lockdown, with everything medical I went through. And then Landon was born. The day he was born, and it was such a happy moment. We were so happy. And we went upstairs and he stopped breathing. He had liquid in his lungs from the fluid, the mucus. Yeah, it was mucus from the fluid he was in. So he stopped breathing. So that was it. That was me then. Went from terrible time to get pregnant, terrible pregnancy, and then for another video, that started my PTSD when Landon then was now on Earth side. So, yep, if anyone could ever tell me their stories as well, I'd appreciate it. If you could let me know how your pregnancies went. Try and beat that one. Be a hard ask, but he's here. He's here now, so I would go through it all again, to be honest, but I'd rather not went through it all and him be here. But thanks for listening, and just if anyone's went through it, you've or even part of what I went through or something else, I'd like to hear about it. And thank you for listening again. Bye.